I'm gonna go over the stream that I did on Thursday in the private section of the Discord. And the stream that I did was basically just talking about the short setup, and the short setup looked something like this. So basically, we were looking for a sweep of the highs. The stops would have been around this high, and the TPs were supposed to be around where this liquidity or all of these lows that are standing on. So basically, this was the short setup that I shared in my last stream that I did on Thursday. And I do stream every Monday here around New York session. And I do another stream every Thursday in this Discord, but on the private section every New York Open Thursday. And this is the short that I shared in the last stream. And so far, so well. So far, pretty good. It's been working pretty fine. But currently, it has taken out the liquidity that I was targeting initially. And my other target was probably like extended all the way back down to the NPOC. But apparently, I feel like that's too much of a stretch for now, because we are currently in a POI where I would personally be looking to flip into long positions. And honestly, that could be a pretty decent position to like hop onto. Let me delete a bunch of what's on my chart real quick. So I'll make the chart real clean real quick. And then I'll explain it how you can position around here. Let me just move a lot of this right here. We don't really need all of this. Gonna delete all this from my chart. And yeah, that's the value area high, the value area low that we need up above here and down below here. That's just the demand, this is the support. And let's zoom a little into the structure and see what's actually going on. We had been like higher time frame uptrending for a while now, and we have continued this higher time frame uptrend from, I think, about like, let me see the days real quick, since the start of April, somewhere here. That's the end of March. So basically, since the end of March, we have just been currently higher trending, and we've been making these continuous highs and lows where we have just been trending higher. There has been no break of any sort of lows, and we just continue that trend all the way up to like 86K somehow. But at the moment, like around here, we started to like have a very weak trend. We started to have more and more rejections. We started to have like POIs that kept filling only to act as inducement, only to act as a potential high, to then reject prices further and to drop prices further. And we have only been taking liquidities since the last 2 weeks now. And that's something that we would probably continue to do, but it's likely that it stops at the moment. And the reason why is that we are currently in a very decent POI where the trend had been like uptrending for a while now. And if you take a look at this structure right here and draw like the 0.5 of this, is where the FVG right here also aligns, and that is supposed to be like my POI. And the way price is stalling, it is likely that it starts to bounce from this level, and then probably gets a market structure break, and then from that market structure break, we most likely continue that structure and take out the liquidities that are standing around these highs, above these highs, and we take out all of these highs, and then we rotate it a little further higher. Probably this structure right here, there's a lot of like supply around this structure, so we might get to see pretty decent rejection from this structure. But honestly, the way this entire chart looks, even though the lower time frame, the current market trend is currently trending down. As you can see, it is like trending down, but the higher time frame trend itself has been trending higher. So there's higher lows, highs, more higher lows, and then that has been bullish for quite a few like weeks, right? Knowing that there's a lot of sellers currently in the market does not equate to the market itself being bearish at all. So it's likely that we probably end up this lower time frame downtrend that we are carrying on and continuing for a while, and then the moment like we get some sort of kick in from the buys right around here, it's gonna be a pretty decent long setup from this level right here. Subs can be most likely around this low, because if this low is to break, then we are to take like this low and that low as well, because that is where a lot of like liquidity has been built up. If you like stretch a trend line from here and here, these are lows that are not far from each other in terms of like price levels. This one right here is 74,800. This one right here is 73,800. So these are lows that are not further apart from each other. So it's likely that once we tap either of these, we're probably gonna take all of whatever we have around these lows right here. So most likely we end up forming a structural low that carries on the higher time frame trend that we have been carrying on, and then from there we probably get to extend for like a 1.5 hour trade minimum. If the stops are like pretty tight, or if the trade gets to develop even better, the stops could be like this as well, and then that could turn out to be like a 3 hour trade almost, and that could result in a pretty decent trade setup right around this level. And that is the current structure that I am looking at in the market right now. Let me go back to the poll that everybody has like put their positions in, and for the people that have not voted in the poll, just go to the chat of this like live stream section, and then you'll see a poll that I have created, and then just post your position. A lot of people are actually sidelined at the moment, is what I am seeing right now. So basically, there's just 1% long, 2% short, and a lot of people are actually literally just sidelined. And there's some people that are longing as well. Okay. Being sidelined right here is something to not be concerned about, because this is just a pullback, a small retracement into a higher time frame trend. So basically, what's really going on is that we have had this like pretty nice grind up on the higher time frame, and the only thing that we are like focusing on the moment is the minor trend down into like a long POI, and this is very common. So for structure to form and for prices to really move on an XY chart, the way we have an XY chart, prices on the right and then time on the bottom, the way it moves up is through like trending like structure, and the way it moves down is through trending structure. So this structure right here is just a very low time frame pullback, a minor bearish trend into a higher time frame bullish trend. And so this is the understanding that we have of the structure right here. And taking a look at the higher time frame real quick for some further clarification, let me show you real quick. Let me zoom out on this, and let me delete all of that is here. Let's just take a look at the hard time frame right here and go a little more on the hard time frame. The only thing that should be concerning everybody would be the sort of structure we're building right here. So this is a downtrend, and the way it's developing, it looks like it's sort of forming a lower high, and the lower high could likely lead these prices all the way down to around even 37.5k. So that's something that could most likely happen, unless and until we come back down and then we SFP and then we start chopping and then we SFP again, and then that could like run it all the way back up to like 120k again, which is pretty possible, which would be the ideal scenario. This is a 3-tap setup. If you actually go to May 2021, you're gonna see pretty much the exact same setup. If you actually go to the use a weekly chart, and let me show you if the chart is loading, it's likely that we form this specific structure. Open the daily chart, scroll all the way back, and then you're gonna see this structure right here looks exactly the same. So it was downtrending, it rejected again, it swept, and then like it did something like this, and then like started to pop up, and that was a 3-tap low that was formed. This is a very beautiful structure, and a lot of the times a lot of people are just confused how to trade it because there's a lot of chop involved in it. But if you really take a deep look into how the market is providing demand to a specific level, it's likely that level gets to turn out to be a bottom. And taking a look at this structure right here, the worst case scenario would honestly not be like 37k or like 20k at all. It would most likely be that prices trend all the way back to this low. It sort of SFP this low, it started chop again, but we come back to around this low here, and then it like run up all the way up to like 100k. That is the worst case scenario that I have in my mind right now, and it's likely that it works out because there's a lot of value and a lot of liquidity that is like stored around this specific chop right here. This is like more than 7 months of just price chopping at one specific level. So to further break this down, and the reason why like we would, and it's not even hopium, it's just a level to level playing and structure. And if you really take a look at it, if you draw a volume profile on this higher time frame structure, I am not sure why my volume profile is not working, but the value area of this volume profile will look something like this. Let me just delete the middle line. Right, will look something like this. And for prices to, there's a lot of, you have to understand, there's a lot of volume that was involved here. There's a lot of people that were trading here, and there's a lot of like spot positions that are from this level. So it's likely that we bounce around from this level, and this entire level is acting as a support for us right now. The worst case scenario is we spike a bit lower, but we are to not go below this level, because if we do go below this level, then it's likely that whatever sort of structure that we have here will now act as resistance, because there's still this level right here. This entire value holds a lot of value for the people that are trading this specific asset. So we do not really want that. That would be months and months of like bearish market, right? So the ideal scenario would be that we just form this three tap structure into this demand right here, into this value right here, and really just get it over with. And that, even to me, is like the worst case scenario at the moment, right? Now the best case scenario is that we let me just zoom in real quick. That we, if you take a look at this structure right here, if you draw the volume profile on this structure, it's gonna end up as a value that looks something like this, right? And let's just ignore that real quick, and then just let's just focus on the structure. Now, focusing on the structure, we have had like multiple higher lows, and that has like continued all over. And as you can see, that has continued like for quite some time. We have like had this like a lot of like higher low structure that is pretty good. But when you're trading BTC, when you're trading Ethereum, and when you're trading a major pair specifically related to crypto, you don't really want prices to go all the way back to any of these lows. That is a big problem, because a lot of the time, specifically when you're trading BTC or Ethereum, what really happens is that once price is trending, it's really trending, and it's not gonna come back to any sort of like prior low, because the prior lows have a lot of liquidity built below them. And what I mean by liquidity is there will be people, let's just say I long like 100 million BTC right here. Where would my stops be? It's most likely gonna be at some swing low, right? And when price comes around those levels, it's gonna take that stop, and then it's gonna new prices further, and that is how like liquidity uh mapping is done, and that's how like a chain reaction is formed when in a trend, right? So we would want not any of these lows to be revisited again, and especially when you're trading BTCs, when prices actually want a trend, they don't revisit any of these lows. They don't really punish any of these lows, and the liquidity that keeps building below them, it just amasses more and more and more. Eventually, at some point where there's actual distribution in the market, and then you see, okay, there's a lot of like sellers that are entering the market, is when we actually go back, we take all of these liquidity at the same time. So we don't want this structure to like fail at all. We would hope that the best scenario would be that we have come into this FEG, we have sort of formed this higher low structure, and we form a low right here, and then we send all the way back higher. Because if we do not really do that, if you don't see any sort of continuation or bullish grind into this specific low right here, then that's going to be a lot of problem. Because taking a look at this structure, this has started to like form like around this structure that looks like distribution. And once distribution happens, even if we bounce from here, let's just say we get rejected from this lower high, what do we do now? That now looks like compression. And what that really represents, that represents a lot of weakness in the market. So we were trending higher and higher, and why it has like that stop, and why is it not really moving further higher? What that does is that usually calls for lower afterwards. So that's exactly why we would want for prices to bounce from this specific level, and that is the long trade that I'm looking for at the moment. And for prices to like bounce from this level, and when they have like bounce from this level, and I'm not sure why it's not loading, and when they have bounce from this level, what's gonna happen, they're gonna go to a POI that is sitting just above them, and they need to clear these three highs that I've been holding. And once that is clear, and the way it can clear is just we need price to like show some bullish momentum, some bullish grind into these highs. And when it does that, it's gonna just plot through all the way to like 87k, and probably even take out these liquidity that are sitting right around these highs. So that will be a move all the way up to like 92k even, right? So that is a best scenario that we want to look for. And this is the higher time frame structure. And don't be surprised if we start to break down. We have to be prepared for that. But if you do start to break down, the first PI you want to look for in terms of like taking TPs, and this is something that a lot of people get wrong. They have gotten it wrong all the way from this move of the low to all the way to the high of this move. and that is just fading the trend. So I know a lot of people that were shorting here, shorting, and then they keep continue shorting, and then when it's actually time to short, they stop shorting. And now when there's actual weakness in the market, we are expecting for prices to go higher. Now they'll be looking for long. So this is something that really happens, and is very common amongst a lot of traders. So just don't fade the trend, and when there's actual strength in the trade, in the bias that you have, just trade that. So if basically we start to drop and we start to nuke down, do not look for longs again and again until and unless, let's just say you come to a long PI, you're gonna be like, let's just say you take a long here, you get stopped out again, and then you have another long PI, and what's happening is that you get stopped out again. Just don't do that. What you gotta do is you gotta trade with the flow, you gotta trade with the momentum, unless and until the momentum itself dies in that trend, and now you recognize, okay, now the trend has changed and now I'm gonna hop onto it. It's never late to hop onto a trend, but it is very bad to just fade the trend itself. So that's something you gotta watch out for. So this could stop here, this could like even stop here. You have to understand that the demand itself is not really demanding and supporting at all, unless there's like actual support, actual market buyers that are willing to buy around that level. So that's something that you gotta keep an eye out for. Let me just go back to the lower time frame real quick and then show you what I have on the chart. Right, let me just delete a lot of this stuff right here. If you guys have any questions at the moment, just tag me in the chat. I'll check up on them real quick. And taking a look at this level right here, we have been very beautifully bearish tweaking out right now. We have been like pretty much going further down and lower, pretty nice and well. What you really gotta watch out for is you don't have to like long every single move down. You don't have to like keep longing again and again. You can even like short at this bottom and then probably like even get away with it. That's something that happens in a downtrend a lot. What you really gotta be looking for is you gotta be looking for any signs of weakness in sellers, and the way that happens is selling is very aggressive. By the way, selling happens something like this. So it's selling, and then it's selling, and then there's further move down. Selling does not happen like it's going like this, and then it's something that goes up and then goes down. Selling does not act like this. This is more likely the sort of action that happens in a chop, or when prices are in a POI. That's what happens when selling and price is downtrending. It downtrends just exactly like this, and as you can see, it stops to like chop a bit and then it nukes, stops to chop a bit and then it nukes. That's basically what goes on. And taking a look at this structure right here, this is what you want to look for when prices like stop moving lower, and the way that happens is very visible and obvious. The when prices like stop to trend lower, and then it just stalls right there, and then there's no sort of low breaks into low breaks. It's where there's weakness in terms of sellers, and that usually calls for a rebound and a move up for price. So that's what you want to look for, and that will be my trigger for a long. And once I do get the trigger, I'm just gonna put my stops to wherever the low gets formed, and then I'm gonna like put my TP. Probably first trade would be something like very aggressive. It will be a very short scalp to a TP around this level, so it fills up the FVG, and if you want to reject from there, continue the trend like the way it's continuing here, it could most likely do that. So the first TP is always when you're fading the trend, because the trend right now on the lower time frame is downtrend. So if you're looking for longs, that is a fade of the trend. So since you're fading the entire market itself, that is why whenever you're looking for a fade, you have to put your TPs at a level where there could be any sort of rejection or resistance. So that's something that could happen. Do you guys have any sort of questions at the moment to ask for me? Let me take a look at the chat real quick. ATTR so we mostly have to check out not to have a bearish view. That's to know if you go for the best scenario or the best, or when to know when you're gonna do it. I'm not sure if I understood your question, but if you're talking about the higher time frame, you don't really need a bearish breaker structure to say, okay, we are bearish now. if you really think about like break structures is they don't really essentially are very self-explanatory unless you add some context to it, and price is fractal, so you need to add a little bit of context to it. So if we take a look at this load right here, this could be a bearish breaker structure, this could be a bearish breaker structure, this could be a bearish breaker structure as well. But which breaker structure or what sort of PA would lead prices to go all the way down till here? What could happen is it breaks structure and then it like bounces from this lower high. It could hold this high, low, and then maybe break structure right here, but it could bounce from this FEG and then go higher. What is a sort of a break structure that would lead the prices to go all the way to the other extreme of the trend? And the way to like really understand it is to focus on the current market structure. Really, just ignore whatever the fuck prices has done before, and just really focus on like whatever the current market structure is doing and the way it's developing. So if it's developing and it's not doing a bullish break structure, that just means okay, it's gonna trend lower and lower, and then it's gonna continue that structure more and more. So that's basically what you gotta look for. Oliver said, isn't momentum clearly slowing down? Just take a look at the daily candles, how long it took. Yeah, that's something that I talked about actually. That's something that I talked about like a few days ago. Let me just show it real quick. This right here, this pair right here, this is not really healthy. And that's something that I talked about in my last streams as well. I was like, hey guys, if you really want to see a blast of a pump, we gotta do it within a week. We gotta do it within a few hours or a few days. And the reason for that is this grind up has been very slow. There's a lot of liquidity that is sitting around these zones, and it's very close to the current market price. So let's just say we're moving up like this, and there is a lot of lows that are made, and the way prices moved up, it's been very slow. It hasn't gained much difference in prices from this level to all the way up to this level. And when it starts to actually show weakness is where it's fucked up. So wherever it shows weakness, it's gonna just go and just take out everybody that's like sitting right here. So that's what usually happens when you're trading BTC, right? So that's exactly why I like talked about this like in my last Monday's call as well, that what you want to see, what will really help us, is that we need prices to get a scam bump, and the pump needs to be pretty big, pretty much just blow out every other shorter, and all of this liquidity that are sitting right here will be so much further apart from the current market price, as the current market price will be much higher, and that would sort of lead people to continue to buy, and that will lead it for prices to go much higher. So that was the thinking process behind getting a very scamish pump or a very strong pump. So we leave behind these for punishment later on, and we also do get to finish our trend as well. Yeah, and the way it's moving right now, it's probably gonna just like take one big ass candle and like nuke pretty much everybody. So that's something that is pretty possible looking at the structure that we have at the moment. Yeah, so we are not really in a good spot as people who have been long biased, and we should be looking for any sort of terms of like weakness and probably trade it. ATTR said, if we are sidelined and the price is going to continue to push down all this liquidity of these lows, what would be a good short PI? No more, because it's probably trending. You don't have to look for a good short PI. Your good short PI is right here. If you're gonna wait for a PI, let's say you're gonna wait for this PI to come short, like, bro, that's gonna like have a lot of repercussions, and that's gonna have to wait. Because if prices have to go all the way up to this high, then it has to be very bullish. It has to like pump up, and when it really gets to that PI, is it really seller's market anymore? Because the sellers got cooked up right here, and it could just continue higher from there. So when you're talking about a short PI, the short PI is just right here in front of you. Honestly, it's right here, and you want to look at the current trend that is developing and the way it's like breaking down further, and you want to just maybe take a short on any sort of retracements. Make sure you don't like just ape short or FOMO into any sort of short position or long position right around a high or low. That's the worst thing that you can do. Yeah, so that's for the current update, and taking a look at what we have on the other charts as well. That's pretty much the same. And the 1 minute chart itself, if you take a look at it, it's still going down, and there is no bearish break structure. I mean bullish break structure, and yeah, it's gonna take some time to develop. It's just gonna continue something like this, honestly. Yeah. Are you guys still any position? If you are, you can like tap it in the chat. Ramnas, what are you looking for intraday? If it's about an intraday trade, let me go back here. An intraday trade would be I look for a long somewhere here. Pretty much pop it up to like this PI, and then I look for a short later on around this PI, possibly stops right around here, and then like let it slam another lower high. That is the type of structure that I'm looking for at the moment. Haven't really looked at XAU. This is the last chart that I had on XAU. I was expecting a nuke from this level to like this PI, which has happened, but it just took a few more days to do so. My charts have on XAU have been doing pretty well. I expected a very nice bounce from this level and then a nuke from this level, which I drew. There's something that I literally shared on the stream a few weeks ago, and this is the structure that I was like drawing in my last stream or a stream before that, and we have pretty much done that as well. And taking a look at XAU right now, it's most likely that it rotates a little higher. A little higher could be from this PI, and then it could go a little higher, but then it's likely that it continues the downtrend structure afterwards as well. Not looking at XAG at the moment. Yeah, it's just nuking. It's just trending down at the moment. There is barely any stopping it because the momentum is pretty strong. So you don't want to get into any sort of useless long positions at all. Just wait it out. And if you really do wait it out, you're gonna have a pretty decent trade, guys. You don't have to force yourself into any sort of trades. So if you're sidelined and you're confused what to do, just wait it out. And if you have an idea what to do, just wait it out as well. Unless and until you have multiple shorts running from these highs, then just go stops break even and then relax in your life. Yeah. Any more questions at the moment, guys? If you do, just let me know. ATTR said, what are your targets for your top short if you have one? Let me see. Honestly, my target would be right here, 68, 69K. Just hoping that it doesn't break down right around here. If you really do have a short running. Husky said like we just took the monthly open. Do these time-based levels mean anything to you? They do, and that's very important. Like monthly open, but what date of the month it is it right now? It's almost been like 20 days since the monthly open has started, and there's a lot of like huge influx of positions that come into the monthly open, and those positions usually stay for the month and the next month as well. That is why the prior month and the monthly open really matters a lot, because there's a lot of people with their position sitting on that level. And right here, that's an SFE. We're gonna just rotate it all the way to this high right here. So that's a rotation from like 76,300 to like 76,600. That's a very minor scalp, so I'm probably just gonna ignore that. But it's gonna happen. It's sort of gonna scam a little lower again, maybe, but it's gonna go to this PI, and from this PI, probably put in a lower high and then go into the higher PI. AG said, can you share how to trade Forex commodities in contrast to BTC as they tend to sweep highs and lows while BTC doesn't, and I look a struggle with that. Honestly, that's something that I can do. I can definitely show you, but honestly, comparing that and sort of finding any sort of relevance within them would be not the best. I'd rather you look at the USD chart and the forex and commodities as an inverse. That would be so much better. Oliver said, prices have just had an NPOC, so we should bounce from here. We should be bouncing from here. That's the sort of a long setup that I would look for. Maybe into the position and then like put my subs right around here, look for a lower high, and then from there there's another rejection. We come back to the low, bounce from that low. Yeah. Can you maybe do an analysis of the USDT dominance chart, or is it pointless for you? Honestly, pointless at this point. If you're really looking for a USDT analysis for your own BTC analysis, that is not the best thing that you would be doing to yourself. I mean, I have it open because a lot of people, I don't think I have it open right now, but a lot of people wanted to see it. Just go to the 1 day time frame on there and see if it's coming to a low or a high, and then that would work out for you. Yeah. Actually, do you use alerts or staring screen all the time, or to observe development and momentum in higher time frame? Honestly, my screen time has gone way lower. Honestly, all of the times that I'm watching the screen right now, it's just setting up my 15-minute to 30-minute position, and then from there, that's I just set alarms and then really just chill. Yeah. If you guys have any sort of questions to ask me at the moment, you can just leave it. You can ask me right away. I guess not, but for the current moment, if I zoom out a little bit more, we are likely gonna form any sort of low right around here. It's probably gonna giga chop a little as well. That's something that could most likely happen. But heading into the week, it's most likely that we form any sort of low around here and then like rotate it a little bit higher to 77,400 at least. And from there, judging however we develop, if we just go from here to here, if we develop a slow grind here, we could get into another long position right around here and then put our stops and then run it all the way to the high. But if you do get a rejection and around this POI, it's just a very nice short setup all the way down to 74, 75 even. Yeah. And that is it for the current market updates, guys. And